Mayor, could I make a comment before we start?
Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted you to notice that all of us that were still in beige or whatever color that you call this, we all wanted to stand out one more time. So that's why we're not in blue.
We'll all get updated. So,
Okay.
all right. With that note, I will go ahead and call the Tuesday, August 27th, 2024, Tumwater City Council work session to order. And we have all of the council members present. So with that, we can go ahead and go into the first agenda item. And I want to make sure that Erica Smith Erickson I was looking to see if she was on yet. I don't see her.
No,
Fred?
I don't see her yet either, so I'm in the moment of digging through my files to find the presentation for tonight. If I can find it. I apologize for that.
No, you're good. We're not in a big rush, so go ahead.
Okay, so what I'm actually going to do, I apologize, this isn't actually the presentation. This is the PDF of the presentation, so we're 2 steps removed from the content, so just keep that in mind. So let's share a screen and see how this goes. Can everybody read that?
Almost.
So,
Yes, but it's ugly.
now we're referring to this, the color combination, the letters on the page, what?
You might want to, is there a way of stretching it out a little bit? There, yeah. I think that's probably the best you're gonna do.
The problem is I'm using a different screen. That's probably not visible at all, is it?
Yeah, we can see it, so.
Okay. All right, we'll make do. So tonight, we are presenting something that is going to be coming before the Regional Planning Council tomorrow night. And what it is one of the many things that has been identified as initiatives that the Regional Planning Council can undertake to increase the home ownership within the community. And this is one of those particular programs. The Black Home Initiative program has been working in King County and Pierce County to date. They have been starting discussions primarily with the city of Olympia and Thurston County about what they can do to sort of expand into their outreach into Thurston County. And the Regional Planning Council technical team took this on as a project for them to review and decide how best to initiate that process. I believe in your packet, you have a great deal of information regarding the program. So I'm going to touch on some of the high points, just going through the presentation here. So the number one issue with this particular program is that 42% of the Black households in the state have zero net worth. And that's primarily driven by home ownership now, as it is for most people, that the sources of income and things that you can have rely on are really what you own, and that primary piece of ownership is whatever housing that you own. The home ownership in Thurston County for white non-Hispanic households is about 69%, which is about the average that it's been for a while. It may have gone up a little bit and then dipped a little bit, but it's been around that for a while. However, the ownership rate for Black households in the county is 45%, which is a huge difference, and doesn't also reflect well on, obviously there's a host of historical reasons for this being the case, but it also just indicates there's a long way to go in order to bring everybody up to the same level in terms of home ownership. So the Black home ownership is, as I mentioned, a new regional effort that seeks to target racial inequities at the core of the housing ecosystem to increase home ownership among Black households. Their goal, and I believe this is the statewide goal, not necessarily the Thurston County goal, is 1,500 new low and moderate income Black households by 2027. Over 100 entities have signed partnership pledges to participate in the network. Now, the network includes not only government, but also private sector, including things like local lending institutions, affordable housing nonprofits, and it really covers the gamut of everybody who could either be supporting through financial means the creation of new housing that would be affordable for low and moderate income Black households, as well as all the social programs and so forth that are needed to support those households to keep them in those households. And this is true also of the discussions that we've been having in Thurston County. The organizations are a very broad group. So, excuse me, from our perspective, the Regional Housing Council has a part to play, but it's not, one of the it's a major part, but it's definitely not the driver on this. The initiative has a 7-point plan that focuses on marketing and outreach, pre and post-purchase counseling, purchase supports and tools, credit and lending, housing production, policies and practices, and sustaining existing homeowners. So from the city's perspective, we probably focus primarily on things like the housing production and also where we can support for policies for sustaining existing homeowners. So being mindful of requirements that we place on homeowners and so forth, and property owners within the city to make sure that that's not an excessive burden in order to do what they need to do. They're also in the process of developing the Covenant Home Ownership Program, which your material has more details on. And so we have started this process with the Black Ownership Initiative back in April, and we've had multiple meetings that Eric has been part of. I would say at least one meeting per month, and not unusual to have at least two. As I mentioned, the participants, and that is the broad group that we're dealing with, includes the financial institutions that have a big say in the local market, including the WSC, CU, and also the Olympia Federal Savings. You'll notice a lot of overlap with local lenders on other things that we've been trying to do in terms of, say, supports for manufactured home parks and other things where we've really been trying to involve local lenders in discussing ways that they can design products and so forth that can support lending to a broader range of folks. In addition to that, there's been Thurston County Realtors have been very involved in this process. I think they've played a really important role, I think, of sort of tying this all back together. I mentioned the nonprofits that have been involved in that: Habitat for Humanity, the Thurston Housing Land Trust, Thurston Asset Building Coalition, the Northwest Cooperative Development Center, and so forth, as well as the jurisdictions in the county, Thurston County and the cities of Olympia, Tumwater, Lacey, and Yell. There has been representatives from the Black Home Initiative at most of these meetings to provide information and to answer questions. I think if you've had a chance to go through the materials in the packet, you can see they've done a very good job of developing potential solutions and potential programs that should be considered. So it's a pretty good organization in terms of just how aware they are of what, touching as many different places that have, I think, impacts on increasing home ownership for disadvantaged groups as well as they can. So I urge you to take a look at those materials. So one of the things that we've been talking about at the Regional Housing Council is how do we support this particular effort? And one of the things that we've been talking about is a partnership or an expansion supporting that for the Black Home Initiative Network to include Thurston County in the geographic focus area. As I mentioned, the focus is right now primarily in King and Pierce County. But we definitely see a need in the community that we've illustrated above to do something on the local level. And given that this is an organization that appears to have a good track record in terms of identifying potential solutions and working with such a broad range of groups, it seemed to be a very natural fit for something that we would support in the Regional Housing Council. This would allow us, in addition, to connect with some of the existing project teams that have been working on these issues for the past 3 or more years in the other counties. collaborate with organizations that have a statewide presence. I think that's important because while this is a very focused initiative focused on increasing home ownership among the Black population in the county, I think obviously anytime we are doing something that benefits one disadvantaged group, there's a lot of things that can overlap and help us in other areas. So I just encourage you to think about that. We've talked a little bit about potential for facilitation and perhaps some administrative support to the local group if the county joins. By the county, I mean the Regional Housing Council. And that's important because one of the things that we've been struggling with just in the city in terms of our staff level and our ability to help with a lot of very good organizations achieve a lot of their goals is we just don't have the capacity at times to have that full range of commitment. So what we're looking on the staff side is where can we cooperate with others, either through the Regional Housing Council or where we can have, multiple wins through one particular effort to do this. So what we're coming to the council tonight for is to talk a little bit about a partnership pledge to the Regional Housing Council, asking the council because this is a work session, we're just asking for your general temperature of, would this be something that you would support? Would this be something you would support? Having our representatives on the Regional Housing Council say, yes, Tumwater would be interested in participating in this, with the understanding that we're still in the process of developing what that could look like. And if there's a specific financial commitment or a more elaborate commitment in terms of time or resources that requires a further approval by council, that would be something that we would bring back to the council for. So again, Eric also wanted to just sort of point out again how the RHC and regional jurisdictional work plans sort of fold into all this process. This is definitely something that works with our housing action plan. It definitely works with the countywide assessment of fair housing, which identified increasing BIPOC access to home ownership as a key goal for our region. It's also, I think, very correctly points out that the Regional Housing Council efforts to increase communication within the community and to be an advocate for statewide policies and funding. And as you're probably aware, this also really fits in with a lot of the things that we're now doing as part of the update of the comprehensive plan and the housing element, especially to meet the new state requirements. The work that we have to do for dealing with disadvantaged communities and demonstrating that we're making, what are we doing concretely to improve these particular situations? This definitely fits into that. So I would just sort of open this up to the council to talk a little bit about what level of support do you believe this is something that we should be committing to as an initial thing, and then we'll sort of determine as we go along in the process what this looks like in terms of a staff level of support. As I mentioned, the next steps would be the Regional Housing Council meeting tomorrow night, which they on the agenda have indicated they're going to take action on whether or not the council would like to proceed with this. I believe the other city councils have either had these discussions or are still in the process of working through these discussions. Because of the switch in vacations this year for the council, we're taking this up later than we probably anticipated, because this came before us as something to bring to the council in late July. So I'm interested in any of your thoughts and any of the direction you may have for us. And I'll try to stop sharing as soon as I can find the stop share button.
Right. Any questions? Councilmember Althauser?
Thanks. I'll just give my 2 cents, just why I thought it sort of made sense for us to talk about this as a work session item. We all sit on different boards and commissions and interjurisdictional assignments. And it seems like when there are things where a topic comes up and it could involve additional staff resources in the way of time or effort or potentially financial resources in the future, or it impacts, a broad swath of things like our comp plan or our housing element or what have you, that I thought it made sense for us just as a group to make sure that we're on sort of solid footing with this proposal that would be the pledge for the Black Home Initiative. I think the goals are ambitious and incredibly worthwhile. I think it would be really meaningful for us to sort of take this step in terms of joining the coalition and working together as a region. And I think it also leverages our resources and our time and efforts as a region to work on this, as opposed to just us signing on as an individual city or something along those lines. So I think tomorrow will be as Brad said, will be the vote on if we want to join it. I don't expect to hear concerns from the other jurisdictions that are a part of the RHC. But I thought it made sense given also our conversations we've been having recently around equity and the Equity Commission to have a discussion along these lines. So I'm interested in if folks have feedback, but I think it's an exciting initiative and I would be proud for us to support it.
Right. Any questions or comments, Councilmember Dolhuff?
Thanks, Mayor. The one thing I was thinking about is the NAACP is starting up, right, in Thurston County. So as this move forward, total support, how does that look to link in another organization that has more expertise, lived experience than myself? Also, Councilmember Jefferson is serving on that board, so that might be a good conduit to connect.
I think NAACP of Greater Seattle is a member organization of BHI. I'm vaguely recalling that from reading the website, but I'd have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case.
That's
So,
awesome.
Coordinating with the new chapter, I think would make all the sense in the world.
I'll go to Councilmember Jefferson and Councilmember Agavi.
I think that this is just a natural extension of what we're doing, because as a city, we strongly support Habitat for Humanity, first homes first, low-income housing. So I would vote yes. This is just an extension of the work that we're doing, natural extension.
Councilmember Agavi.
Thank you, Mayor. So I am in support of this. So one of the things I hear from the community or from friends when I go up north to maybe Snohomish County or King County, say, well, you know, why do you live in Charleston County? Why do you live in Tumwater? Nobody live over there. By extension, what they mean to say is that minorities don't live out there. So I don't know why they have that impression, but I can hazard a guess. But with stuff like this that we're doing down here, that will give the impression to people that not only are we serious in what we do, that we're also very inclusive. And then also, since we are going to embark on this diversity and equity and inclusion voyage, this would be a good show and tell that will go with our portfolio. So I'm very much in support.
Thank you. Councilmember Swarthout.
Thank you, Mayor. My question, I appreciate this this initiative and would be in support of it as well. My only concern is taxing our planning department that's, really busting their, as far as work that you have in front of us and how much you cover. Is this something that will, how can we participate and not swamp our planning department?
Brad, are you able to answer that question?
I
I think that'll probably be a work in progress, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's a work in progress. I do think, if we're able to maintain the level that we're at in terms of attending the meetings and sort of like, I don't want to say being able to throw ourselves full bore into this, but also being able to take a lot of the things that we're finding out about and share it with our networks. I think at the moment, that's probably something that's a really good focus for us, given our limited resources, but at the same time, we could definitely be doing that. And then we could definitely be doing, as we're doing the comprehensive plan update of the housing element, as we're identifying implementation actions, I think we definitely can use some of this material and some of these contexts to identify very specific initiatives that the city should be considering, well, we're going to recommend the city should consider, that either the city undertake directly or work closely with regional partners on. So I think it has value. If we are overwhelmed, if you see us, just crying constantly, just take that into account. But otherwise, I think we'll probably be okay. Mostly, excuse me, just a moment.
Councilmember Kathy?
I do not want to see you weeping. I like what Brad just said. It was part of kind of a question for me. I want to see Tumwater not only wholeheartedly, like Michael said, join this, be part of it, have that word spread, that that's a commitment of ours, but that we as a city have specific things in the law, as we go along, that we think that we could do, or we want to do, or we've been thinking about. So it doesn't look like we just joined, so we could say that, but not let it lag too long, that we have some specific ideas, or some good ideas, or a direction we want to head. So I'm with all the yeses.
Great. Councilmember Von Holtz?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm in agreement with Councilmember Jefferson. I feel like this is a natural progression. This is Tumwater walking its talk and showing that we support a diverse community. And so I am in support of this.
Right, thank you. Brad, I did have a question, because I remember a couple of years ago, we were looking at working with home HOAs and those kinds of things for redlining, because there's a lot of redlining language. And, it's just one of those things I haven't heard much about for a while. Would that be something that this group would look at? Maybe?
Well, that's, I don't know what the status of that program that is either. And as you're aware, probably, if you're not, the effort was to scrub a lot of the language that had been approved as either HOA or on plats or anything like that,
Right.
that was discriminatory and restrictive. I think, I don't want to say the initiative is more forward thinking, meaning that stuff, number one, it's disallowed to begin with. Let's focus on very concrete things to help people immediately, kind of thing. So I'm not sure necessarily if they're going to be paying as close attention to that particular issue as they are, say, just how can we identify particular financial programs that benefit those who fit into the certain income categories and so forth.
Yeah, and that makes sense, because I don't think those laws apply, but it was just more of a administrative cleanup more than anything else to get that language out of a lot of those documents. So, all right, any other questions or comments? So for those on the RHC, I think you got very clear direction from our council of where we stand with this particular topic. So yeah, please keep us posted on the progress. But I think that we would be in full support of this.
Okay. I also want to point out that the blue sky rectangles are all over the sand colored council members. I don't know how that worked, but very good job.
Yeah, for those who don't know, we just got this week a new background. So I don't think everybody got the ability to update their background yet. So yeah, this has been a topic we've been talking about for, I think, maybe 2 years or so, somewhere in that neighborhood. And so, yeah, so we got it. And I appreciate our new communications manager. So, all right, and his staff. So with that, we're now going to move into a workforce planning update. And Michelle Sutherland, our HR director, and Mallory Coleman will be presenting. So go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. So again, just here to give you an update on the work that my team has been doing on workforce planning. So why do we do workforce planning? Really, municipal workforce planning is really crucial for us to ensure that we can deliver all the services and meet all the needs of the community. So by strategically managing the human resource function, the city can align staffing levels with current and future demands, support employee retention and talent development, and really ensure that a lot of our critical roles that are crucial to the city's success are filled. We do have a few openings right now, so definitely workforce planning is a very important part of that. Taking a proactive approach really helps avoid the shortages, the workforce shortages. It can reduce operational costs and really enhance the quality of our public services and the services that we provide to our community. So it really enables municipalities to adapt to changes. As you know, we have population growth, there's technological advancements, evolving regulatory requirements, and it really ensures that the city as a workforce can remain responsive and resilient. So from that, I'll ask Mallory to go ahead and share. This is a draft of the workforce plan that we've been working on. So there's a few things that are not filled in yet. So if we can bring that up. Okay, so we're workforce planning for the next two bienniums. So the 25-26 and then 27-28 budgets. So that is the length of our plan at this time. And one thing I will include, that this is for the city departments that don't include police and fire. While we are going to encompass their workforce planning and work that they have done within our plan, they have been very proactive departments in actually working on that themselves. So,
Michelle, I have a question for you. Is this a requirement for the county and the state, or just Tumwater?
It's not a requirement for the county or the state. But to me, being in administrative services and human resources, it's really a requirement for us to have a vision as to where our workforce is going, into the future. What do we need, and how many staff do we need to support what our community needs? So
thank you.
It's something that proactive that we decided to do as a team. And it really ties back to the strategic goals that the council developed. So looking at the strategic goals, and we can move forward probably on a few of the slides. As I said, it's a draft. Tying it to really directly to the strategic goals that were developed by the council. So maintaining a culture of continuous improvement, ensuring a safe and healthy workforce, promoting a talented DEIB workforce, creating a continuous learning organization, and updating the employee compensation plan. So, when you look at the goals that you have given us to work by, the city of Tumwater provides high quality services to meet the dynamic needs and high expectations of our citizens. It's really our goal to focus on continuous improvement and strive to provide the best possible services using innovative and creative means. In doing that, kind of going beyond conventional approaches to meet the changing needs of our city. We want to continuously strive to be an employer of choice. That's very important that we attract a skilled and talented workforce from diverse backgrounds and disciplines. So again, tying this plan directly to your strategic goals. Again, looking at our beliefs, Tumwater has always believed in its people, in excellence, in opportunity, in partnership, learning, and environment. So again, looking at all our beliefs, tying this plan directly to what we've already developed. Moving into Tumwater's vision of the future will be people-oriented and highly livable, with strong economy, dynamic places, vibrant neighborhoods, and the healthy and natural environment. Also utilizing this plan as a recruitment tool. They can really see what Tumwater is about. So looking at the vision and the mission as developed by the council and tying it to that. We've got strategic priorities. The plan was developed using input collected from in-depth interviews with the city administrator, all of our directors, managers, and staff. We took a lot of their perceptions and analyzed them within the context of the current and projected workforce needs, not only as they pertain to the city, but also our comparable cities in the wider Olympia area. So this, in essence, helps ensure that our strategy is developed in context with the broader labor market. So analyzing all of that data and then looking at citywide data, comparable city data, we've developed some strategic priorities surrounding that. Let's see. The strategic priorities that we've developed are talent acquisition and retention, skills development and training, succession planning, which is definitely very important. We'd like to increase the recruitment of a diverse talent to foster innovation and inclusion. So looking at a lot of these goals, and if you'd like a copy of this draft, or if you already have one, it's important. All of these different areas are really critical to the success of the city as a whole. Workforce flexibility, looking at performance management, and looking at workplace analytics and planning. So I will go ahead and let Mallory take that from here.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, council members, Mayor. So to kind of go off of what Michelle was saying, the next few slides really focus on the data that we received from all of the managers and the directors. To, piggyback off of what Michelle was saying at the beginning, that, doing these kind of plannings, it's not a requirement. Thank you for that question, Councilman Jefferson. But it really helps align the business for our overall objectives and, making sure that we're still providing the services that is important to our community. So to go off of the slideshow, progressive workforce planning, it's essential to, really examine the growth and evolution of the city. We all know that Tumwater has had experienced a significant development and is transforming from a modest community into a vibrant hub of economic and social activity. So by analyzing the city's expansion, demographic shifts, and economic trends, we can tailor our workforce strategies to meet the unique needs of this evolving economy and community. So what is workforce planning? It's crucial to, the experiences of the city's growth, and the components of workforce planning that we're going to focus on are as follows: planning and alignment, recruitment and retention, implementation, training and development, and performance. So every single interview that we did with the managers focused on these key areas. And from those results, with planning and alignment, these were all of the findings that we got and the perceptions that we got. So the city is experiencing challenges in planning and alignment, primarily due to staffing shortages and budget constraints. Departments are consistently understaffed, leading to a reactive work environment and an inability to maintain services or complete projects efficiently. So despite recognizing these needs for enhanced services and limitations, and denied staffing requests hinders progress, unfortunately. We also have aging facilities and outdated equipment to further exacerbate the issue, necessitating emergent repairs, new buildings, and technological advancements. Overall, while there is a clear identification for the need of growth and improvement, financial and staffing limitations pose significant obstacles. Moving on to recruitment and retention. You'll hear a lot of common themes throughout all of these findings as well. The recruitment efforts are primarily uncompetitive salaries, making it hard to attract and retain skilled workers compared to our neighboring cities. And high-performing employees are experiencing burnout due to heavy workloads and insufficient compensation, highlighting the need for more recognition and support. Departments such as finance and community development have voiced additional challenges in recruiting younger generations who show less interest in government work. And then furthermore, lack of proper documentation for processes, especially in roles impacted by retirements or turnover, intensifies these challenges and hinders effective succession planning. So overall, the demand for higher salaries, reduced workloads, and better recognition highlights the urgent need to improve retention and attract new talent.
Okay, I got a question for you, Mallory,
Sure. Mhm.
Michelle. So I know that we need engineers and planners. So when it comes to recruiting and retention, have we looked at closely, are we going to offer incentives? Are we going to partner with other, organizations, colleges around the US to try and bring some of them to Tumwater? Is there a plan for that? I'd like to hear it.
Sure. That's a wonderful question. In fact, my colleague Matt Middleton and I, we have repeatedly gone to numerous job fairs. We're planning on going to more job fairs, especially with the engineering positions. I'm doing those recruitments, so I completely understand the need for them. We're planning on going to St. Martin's College for their career fair because a lot of our current engineers actually come from there. So we're really highlighting that. We're reaching out more on social media, on LinkedIn. We've actually had a lot of success with that. So we are implementing new ideas throughout the last year that we've been in our positions in HR. We've really kind of, gone more into the future of how can we get people, how can we get creative? Fun posts on LinkedIn have actually brought in a lot. When we do make offers, we are very considerate of everybody's skills and expertise and do make, quite attractive offers.
Attractive offers within our current range and pay
Yes.
scale. However, our current range and pay scale, they're really not competitive in the market for this area. And that's where we've lost a lot of candidates too. They'll entertain our offer and they get an offer making 20,000 or 30,000 more a year from someone within a 20-mile radius of us. So that's where we are losing excellent candidates too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, to continue, the next topic was implementation. The city's deployment strategies indicate a need for better promotion and communication of both long-term and short-term goals. Larger strategies need to be greater in visibility, and staff achievements should be acknowledged more frequently than just at events like picnics and breakfasts. Currently, departments react in a reactive mode, striving to shift towards a more proactive approach. There is a need for effective communication of goals through multiple channels to employees. Moreover, resource limitations hinder remote work capabilities and may affect operational efficiency. Addressing these resource needs is crucial for aligning with the city's goals and enhancing organizational success. On to training and development. Several trends emerged regarding training and development. There is a consensus that training programs need improvement and should be more structured. Succession planning presents challenges in certain areas, and there is a call for more cross-training where applicable and to ensure knowledge transfer and foster a collaborative environment. Organizationally, there is a recognized need for a citywide training coordinator, particularly for supervisory development. And while individuals with leadership potential are acknowledged, limited opportunities for growth within their current departments or the city overall is observed. And then on to performance. Several performance trends are apparent within the organization. There's a recognized needs for additional training, again, for newer leadership or in handling poor performers effectively. Recognition, both formal and informal, is given through various channels such as kudos and celebrating anniversaries. Managers are expected to set clear expectations and promptly address issues, although the frequency of performance meetings varies across departments. And while annual reviews remain consistent, some managers opt for more regular check-ins. There is a push for more formal recognition program for real-time staff recognition and a call for a system to hold staff accountable, especially in conflict-averse environments. That is the end of our slideshow right now. We are planning on adding a lot more data, especially to kind of go over the how the growth of the city has happened compared to our full-time employees count. So there's going to be a lot more information coming ahead. That kind of concludes where I'm at. And Michelle, I didn't know if you wanted to add anything before we open it for questions.
No, I don't think I need to add anything at this point. I'm just very appreciative of my team and their ability to take something like this and run with it and really dig into the data, the information, and be excited that this is at least the first workforce planning process for the city departments here. Again, not including police or fire because they've already done this work.
All right, Councilmember Doha.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you both. Appreciate that. Helps me put things in perspective. Another thing that would help me put things in perspective is when council had our third retreat in March, a table of year-to-date attrition was supplied for 2022, 2023, and 2024. As you move forward, and we're going to see these requests in the budget, which council has to work through, could we have an updated year-to-date attrition rate? Because that was in March, and now we're getting into September. To help put things in perspective of the need.
Definitely, that's something we are keeping more data and analytics to assist us in our workforce planning process. So that is something that we can provide.
Awesome. Thanks, Michelle.
Any other questions? Councilmember Jefferson?
Yes, thank you. That was a great start. I'd like to see more on adding paid internship, paid externships, just to get those younger, engineers, planners in the door. So that could
I
be
think
another
that's really critical as well. Councilmember Jefferson, looking for programs even to bring high school students in to let them know what city and municipal government is really about, and looking at those internships that could be so critical to the college students.
Yeah, because I know that Dan works with those college students, so just maybe partnering with him and see how we can get some of them in the door would be great. But excellent start. Thank you. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Councilmember Kathy?
Well, I think that these two pros here are excellent, and I am glad that we have them on our staff, and they're the kind of people we want to keep on our staff. So you can pat yourselves on your back or find somebody else to do it for you tonight. One of the questions I wanted to ask was this report that you've given and the retention and the need for looking at salaries and benefits and perks and all that. Is this typical in our area or Western Washington at this point in time? Are other cities looking at this and discovering some of the same things?
When I look at our market comps, I think other cities are ahead of us in doing all of this work. They are more at market with all of their salary and pay scales, and have a lot more developed as far as workforce planning goes. So I'm really happy to be a part of Tumwater starting this process. I think it will be very beneficial to the city as a whole moving forward.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And we are looking at the market comps with all of the other cities that are related as far as population and assessed value. So that's something that I'll be bringing to the city administrator as well. So if you're interested in that information, it will be available sometime in the next month or so.
And it comes down to just kind of what you have to think about as a household is you only have so much money and you have so many things you need to do and cover and pay for. And then what your income is that designates a lot of that. So I really appreciate your work. This makes it easier to see and not just hear someone say, oh, we should have done this. Oh no, we don't have the money. This is right on. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We appreciate that input.
Don't forget the pat on the back.
Yeah, I do have to say our HR department's been working really, really hard on this and doing a lot of study. So I think that this will be very helpful moving forward so we can be, as we budget and do a lot of the other things, we'll have more realistic and more market appropriate information to move forward. So is there any other questions or comments? All right. Wow, with this, we are really moving through our agenda tonight. So that comes to the Mayor City Administrator report and City Administrator Parks.
I don't have anything in particular, Mayor, unless anybody has a question of me.
No, it looks like not. So I really don't either, other than we're going to be having Labor Day weekend. I can't even believe we're already there. And then so September, you know, we start hitting the ground running again and starting to all that fall work. So yeah, so that is pretty much what I have. So if anyone has any questions, I will let everyone go out and enjoy the remainder of the sunshine this evening. So with that, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.